Louisville leaders are looking for new ways to curb reckless driving. They're hoping this is one solution. It is a rumble strip. The divots make those sounds and even vibrate when you drive over them to keep you up and alert. Our Connor Steffen and photojournalist Ian Hardwitt looked into how they're being received in East Louisville.
We've done a lot of things to the park to beautify it. There's been a lot of improvements since this became part of my district.
And what you're looking at and listening to is Cox Park's newest addition.
We've added rumble strips, and that came as an expense to the city.
Councilman Scott Reed said the tool has proven successful in other parts of the U.S.
As far as I'm aware, that's the first time it's been used in and around this area.
An area that sees its fair share of reckless driving disturbances.
Just based on the number of complaints that we get, it's easily, 3 or 4 a week.
You know how often people do this stuff here? Would you say from what you've seen or heard?
A couple times a week.
Yeah, probably 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Ryan Mattingly and his friends came to Cox Park to fish.
I'm stringing it up because a fish took my bait.
But they're aware of the problem here.
Yeah, I think there is a reckless driving problem, especially in this upcoming generation.
Councilman Reed agrees. He believes this is the best way to go about it.
We don't want people to damage their cars, but at the same time, we want a deterrent to keep people from dragging, from doing burnouts. So we want a safe park.
It doesn't come without some criticism.
And people with trailers and boats, I've seen them come through with big boats and they're moving around. I'm like, that could cause unnecessary damage to this.
Well, I think that this is a reasonable compromise because the boaters were pretty adamant that they didn't want speed humps. We don't want to hurt them. We want to come up with something that's fair to the boaters, but that will prevent the drag racing from happening.
A new effort to curb a persistent problem. Connor Steffen, WHAS11 on your side.
Councilman Reed said those rumble strips could expand into the non-boating parking area of Cox Park, and they could also be installed in other areas of Louisville where we are seeing a high number of reckless driving incidents. The city recently passed a new ordinance to prevent street racing. Drivers can be fined up to $2,000 now and have their cars seized for up to 6 months. Police have already towed at least 35 cars since this began. The parents and uncle of a Louisville toddler faced a judge today after their 3-year-old boy found a loaded gun in the home and shot himself. Jarrell White, Jasmine Wiggins, and Dewan Floyd Jr. are all now charged in connection to that shooting that happened back on May 20th. They all 3 remain in jail on $100,000 bond. White and Wiggins are the child's parents. Floyd is the boy's uncle. According to court documents, the toddler found a loaded handgun in that home and shot himself in the femur. His parents weren't home at the time, but the uncle said that he slept through the whole thing. Instead of calling 911, investigators say the 3 tried to instead treat the boy themselves and then cover up the shooting. About 3 hours later, they took that boy to the hospital for treatment. The city of Louisville will pay $275,000 to settle lawsuits from women who accused a former LMPD officer of sexual misconduct. Pablo Cano pleaded guilty back in 2019 to 5 charges of sexual misconduct after 5 women accused him of rape and sexual assaults dating back to 2015. An attorney representing those women confirmed that settlement Wednesday. She said the amount was less than they'd hoped, but noted the cases were more than 5 years old and they didn't want to risk a ruling in the city's favor. Kentucky will receive more than $317 million as part of a national opioid settlement. It's the result of a lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies like Teva and Allergan, along with CVS and Walgreens for their roles in the opioid epidemic. In addition to Kentucky's Attorney General Daniel Cameron, attorneys general in 21 other states were a part of this lawsuit, including Indiana. All of the companies involved will also be required to change their opioid policies, including how they're marketed and how suspicious activity around opioid prescriptions are reported. Kentucky will receive this money over the span of 15 years, starting at the end of this year. The Kentucky Horse Racing Commission just announced the hiring of a new safety steward this week to oversee safety procedures for live horse racing. While the KHRC already does this as a staff, this creation of the position puts a special focus on those safety protocols. Some day-to-day duties include monitoring race day medication regulations, reporting any unsound horse regulations, and conducting pre-track safety inspections. Back to South Louisville just named a new president following the retirement of Larry Gray. Jonathan Velez is from Fort Myers, Florida. Most recently, he was the chief of operations at Gulf Coast Medical Center, which offers similar services to Baptist. He will begin that role on July 17th. Today, Mayor Craig Greenberg announced a major step forward for families and children who no longer have access to the Algonquin pool this summer. It's been closed for repairs. So Metro Government, the YMCA, Kentucky Kingdom, and TARC have all teamed up to offer free pool passes to the affected families. The passes will grant residents with access to the YMCA pool there on West Broadway, as well as access to water parks at Kentucky Kingdom. TARC will also give people with these passes free rides to the locations. Councilmember Tammy Hawkins, though, said she wants the community to know no other pools will be overlooked like this.
But moving forward, I promise wholeheartedly that pools, not just like Algonquin, but any other pool, any other park, will no longer be overlooked.
Algonquin Pool is set to reopen after renovations next year. Now, what was not explained to us today is how the city will hand out these free pool passes, when and who will get them. We are expecting more of that process coming up on Tuesday with another news conference.